Good evening, Erev Tov. Thank you for joining me. For tonight's video, I'm trying something different again. I have this new jacket with me that I've been slowly decorating, and for this video, I'm going to be adding a drawing that I made onto this jacket. So I'm going to be showing you that process and speaking over it softly. If you enjoy this video, please comment, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Enjoy. So this is the design that I drew. I put it onto a transfer paper that you can print directly onto. So I printed out the transfer paper and then I ironed it onto a plain white t-shirt. And so now I am cutting the t-shirt because I'm just going to make this like a patch. I'm going to have just the design on the t-shirt cut out, and I'm going to sew it into the jacket. I've been making digital art for a little while now. I used to paint with oil paint, but I found that that was very messy and challenging. I really like doing digital art because it's less messy, there's less materials needed, and I just think for me there's more possibilities with what I can do with art when I do digital art. And so this was the drawing I chose. It's a little bit of a rough sketch feel, which I thought was fitting for the type of jacket that it's going to be sewn onto. This kind of art might not be everyone's taste. I know it looks a little bit dark and grim, but my intention wasn't even to be dark and grim, although you can interpret it that way. I was just fascinated with the idea of showing parts of animal anatomy that we usually can't see. So I made a few drawings of different animals and being able to see some of their bones in different parts of their body. And so I decided to do that with this rabbit, and I like how it came out. And as I said, I thought it was very fitting for the jacket. The scissors that I used for cutting this t-shirt were not the best scissors. I don't have fabric scissors, but afterwards I did find some craft scissors that worked a little bit better. So after I finished cutting it out, I did go through and cut off the ends a little bit with those scissors. And this is a craft that I've never tried before. I'm not particularly good at sewing. I don't sew very often. I've never really done an iron-on design before, but I thought it would be nice to try it out. So this is the jacket, and this is where I'm going to be placing it and sewing it on. And so I put a few pins in to keep the design in the place that I wanted it, and then I began sewing with white thread. And as I mentioned, I'm not very good at sewing, so this was a slow process. I did it by hand. I don't know how to use a sewing machine, and I don't own one. Perhaps it would have been faster, but I'm perfectly happy doing hand sewing. I think that sewing can be a really nice activity. I like the repetitiveness of it. It makes me think of breathing because the motion is always in and out. You're pushing the needle in, you're pulling it out, and so on. And so I like the repetition. I think it can be a relaxing activity, a good way to unwind and decompress. And if you like to do crafty things, I encourage you to try new things, even if you don't think you'll be very good at it. Sometimes it's not about the product coming out good in the end, it's more about the process and giving yourself time to create things. As I said, I'm not very good at sewing. When I cut out the shirt wasn't cut out very well, so it has some rough edges, but I actually think it fits in with the jacket, so I'm okay with all the imperfections in this project. And I think it can be a nice way to also stop and reflect on how in our own lives things are not perfect, but they still can be beautiful in their own way, and we can admire them and appreciate the imperfections. I could have gone searching online or in a store to find a jacket that already had a cool design on it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm glad that I took a plain jacket and added my own designs to it to try to make my own unique jacket that no one else would have, and one that's very signature of me because it has my art on it. And if you're still watching this right now, I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let the deep breaths remind you to take a moment for yourself, to be in the moment, to decompress and relax. I find that sometimes watching other people create things can be either relaxing or inspiring, and so since I was going to be making this jacket for myself anyways, I thought I might as well film it and share it so that it'll either inspire others or just give them something to view and listen to and relax to. You definitely don't have to use this video as a tutorial. You don't even have to really be listening to what I'm saying. If you just like the idea of watching a video of a repetitive motion and hearing someone talk in a soothing voice, that's another valid way to watch a video like this. You can watch it however you want and take away what you want from it. And surprisingly, I think only once during this whole project I poked myself with the needle, and it wasn't deep and I didn't cut myself or make myself bleed, so I considered that an accomplishment as well. And as I'm pulling the needle up from the inside into the outside of the jacket, I am checking underneath the jacket to make sure that the thread has been pulled all the way through. you do want to make sure that when you're sewing that the thread is being pulled all the way through, where that can cause problems later on. I actually had started to sew this and wasn't paying attention, and the threads weren't being pulled all the way through, so I did start over. And so when I started over, I started recording again. And so this is what you're watching. I'm not sure when the idea came to me to do this. I think for a while I've been wanting to incorporate this rabbit into clothing somehow, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. Since it's only showing a portion of the rabbit and not its full body, I didn't really want to just put it on a t-shirt because I would have then wanted to have the whole rabbit, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to redraw the whole thing or draw the body on. It seemed kind of challenging to do after I already completed this drawing. But then when I got this jacket, I thought about how it would be cool to embellish it with patches and other things that might make it look kind of more unique and specific to me. And that's when I got the idea to add the rabbit to the jacket. And placing it where I've placed it seems like the perfect place to have the rabbit, since we don't see its full body. It sort of works in this spot on the jacket. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I do want to add more to the jacket. What I'm planning to do next is I'm going to try to hand stitch Hebrew words into the jacket. I'm going to try to stitch in the words white rabbit in Hebrew, which is Aranav Levan. I'm not sure if I'll record that just because I think hand stitching letters is going to be a lot more time consuming and difficult, and I might have to hold the jacket in different ways to achieve that, which might make filming it challenging. So I'm not sure if I'll include that. But if you are enjoying this and you do want to see that, if by the time I've posted this and I see that there's interest and I haven't added it to the jacket yet, I will maybe consider filming. I'm not sure. At the very least, if there's interest, I will show what the jacket looks like with the letters on. But I also don't really know if I'll be able to stitch the letters on. I've never done something like that before. It seems a little bit more challenging than sewing on just a big block of a t-shirt into the jacket. Sewing this rabbit on is a lot more forgiving. I don't have to be too precise, but if I want to stitch letters in, I'm going to have to be a lot more precise and neat with it. And if you've ever done something like this, if you've added stitches into a jacket or painted over it or attached something, let me know in the comments. I'm definitely curious to know. Maybe you'll even give me some ideas of what else I could add to the jacket. And so I didn't record the entire sewing process, just most of it, but I did finish it, and here's a close-up. And so there it is on the jacket. And so this is how it turned out in the end. I think it turned out pretty cool. I'm probably going to be adding more to this jacket. I'd like to stitch in some Hebrew words, maybe white rabbit, Aranav Lavan. I'm not sure if I'll make a video of that. I'm not the best at stitching, so we'll see how that turns out. Thank you again for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it helped you relax, or maybe got some creative juices flowing if you like to make things. Toda rabah, Leitrot. Thank you very much and goodbye.